Okay, so on August the 7th, I went to my first primary school in Cape Town. And I was invited to go there by Dr. Derek Fish, who had hosted me at UniZulu, but his daughter is a science teacher or some kind of teacher there at the school. And they were going to do a science show anyway about just sort of fun experiments and physics essentially. And so they were like, you should come too. You should do your lessons there. And so I did. So I went to this primary school in Kirstenhof, I believe it was. And I did some lessons for the fifth graders about constellations and stars. And we did a lot with balloons. And they wanted to keep the balloons and pop the balloons. And it was all very crazy. Um, and we had some really good intuitive sort of questions, and also the teachers actually put in their own 2 cents. So when I'm talking about like the time it takes for a high mass star to form versus a low mass star, the high mass stars form a lot faster. And I was trying to say that, if you're blowing up a balloon, you blow usually at the same speed, and so the small ones would form faster. But it's different because gravity. And then we had to sort of inspire them to think of why. And the gravity sort of pulls everything faster, so that you can make a lot bigger thing a lot faster, which sort of doesn't make sense if you're assuming a constant flow rate, but the flow rate isn't constant. So they were all kind of in awe of that. And we got to pop some balloons, talk about supernova and black holes. And I get to tell the red stars that they live forever, and they love that. They're like, you're gonna live forever. Oh, great. I'm gonna live forever. Obviously with like the yellow stars, you get to talk about how the sun's going to eat the earth, and they love that too. Um, and just generally, it's a lot of fun. And they got to take the constellations to make back to class with them, because I only had half an hour. No, I think I had an hour with each one, because it was 60 students at a time for an hour. And um, yeah, they really had a great time just being balloons and stars that are balloons, and learning a little bit about constellations in the sky. And you should look up and make sure you can see things like the Milky Way, because you live in a really great place where you can see the Milky Way. um, and then I got to do sort of for the whole of groups or grades 6 and 7. So it was quite a lot of students. I think it was it 120 possibly. Quite a lot of students. And I give them essentially a talk about where are you in space, and what is exoplanets, and what are exoplanets, and what about astrobiology, and what about life in space. And because I had my little cuddly toys with me, they got really hung up on tardigrades, and I realized I need significantly more information than I have about tardigrades, because they were like, how many are there? How big are they? How do they die? How do they reproduce? And I'm like, oh my God, guys, I'm not a biologist. I'm trying to use this creature as a example of an extremophile that can live in a weird environment like on an exoplanet. Please stop asking me questions about tardigrades. And like, I did my best, and we had like Dr. Fish and Mrs. Fish sort of like Googling specific questions for me, like how long do they live? I don't know. All I know is that biologists are trying to kill them, but not like to be evil. Because everyone was like, "What if you shoot it?" And I was like, "Oh, the point, my child, is not that we can't kill them and that we want to kill them. The point is that they can survive a lot of extreme things. So yeah, if you shoot it, it will probably die because it explodes. But the point is, so does everything. The point is, how does it survive without air? How does it survive without water? How does it survive in extreme radiation environments? And this kid was like so intent about like, well, I think we should just shoot it. And I was like, that's not research, that's something else. And then one girl was so obsessed with the tardigrade. She really wanted my little cuddly tardigrade. And I was like, I hope you can get one here. But like, she read the whole information card on the tardigrade, and she's like, I love this. He's so cute. And I'm like, I love his stupid face too. Tardigrades are ridiculous. And she's like, I'm like, you can become a biologist, okay? You're going to study tardigrades, and maybe you won't kill them because you think they're cute. So yeah, we went way too deep on tardigrades and not deep enough on like actual exoplanets. But Dr. Fish came and like sort of reoriented them. It was a slightly different sort of presentation than I'm used to. So I usually do a very sort of interactive lesson where we have lots of movement and lots of things happening. And this was more like it was supposed to be more like a science show and didn't get the show element. It ended up as kind of a Q&A, but it was okay. And in the end, we got them to think about what is the requirements for life beyond just like what is obvious. And we talked about tides, and we talked about the importance of sharing information between fields, like how important it is to have someone who's knowledgeable about, let's say, oceans or atmospheres or planetary interiors, astronomy, biology, physics, chemistry, geology, all of that, and work together to try to understand astrobiology. And so it was a really the questions that, because Dr. Fish, his background is physics, and so he was going from that direction, and I was sort of filling in the astrochemistry side. And together, I mean, this is the example of how collaboration works. Together on stage in front of these kids, we built something greater. It's always what happens. We built something greater that helped them get a greater understanding of our universe, of how things work, and of what's important, and let them think about what is needed, how we live, and why it's so kind of special that we exist here. And so the 7th was also a fantastic day. It was my first school in Cape Town, and I think I should have some next week, the week of the 12th. And I think, yeah, Cape Town's very different from the East Coast and from Johannesburg. It's very kind of stressful, very city-like, very LA. But the students are, as everywhere, the students are the same. The students are curious. They want to know. They love to learn. They love to experience. And I think I say this every time, but it's really just making it all worthwhile to see all these students and their passion and their interest and their enthusiasm. And I'm really happy to have this opportunity. And hopefully I could have it again someday. Until next time, bye.